Hey, what's going on guys? I'm Primal Liquid and welcome to my video showing you an answer to a question absolutely no sane person would ever ask. Now, being overpowered and breaking yourself early on in JRPGs is no secret, especially when it comes to Final Fantasy games, and the easiest one to break yourself in is Final Fantasy VIII. But just how overpowered can you really get? Especially before you even do the first tutorial, such as getting Ifrit? Well, the answer to that is going to be in this video. Again, please let me say, stay sane and do not attempt this yourself, as it is a colossal waste of time, but it does still have some interesting results. So let's get into things, shall we? The main idea here is to break ourselves by abusing cards, the junction system, and card mod, as well as a few higher leveled monsters. So we start off by getting Shiva and Quetzalcoatl Guardian Forces, as we're going to need them for the very basics. Right after you leave the classroom, speak to the chap on the bridge to get your first set of playing cards. We're not going to use these though, they're utterly terrible cards beyond belief, and while it is possible to win with them, it's more of a hassle than it's worth. Now, we're ready to really start getting things going. Leave Balam and go to the beaches to start farming AP. The easiest way is to just summon both GFs. Make sure you set card to be learned first for Quetzalcoatl though. Once that is learned, you can leave the beaches, just make sure to set card mod right after. Now that we have card, we can start working on getting some very high level boss cards. You see, when you card an enemy, you have a high chance of receiving the card for that specific monster. However, there is also a low chance of getting a card for a high level monster. For example, here you can see me card a Glacial Eye monster, but the card it gives me is the very good level 7 Jumbo Cacta card. And if you look at the bottom right of the card information screen, it says Monster, Wendigo, and Glacial Eye. What this means is you can get Jumbo Cacta from carding the Glacial Eye monsters and also the Wendigo monsters. But you need 5 cards to play a game, so what else can we get? Well, you can get Alvarets from carding Bite Bugs, Trauma from carding Caterpillars, Shumi Tribe from carding T-Rexes and Grats. Now, this gives us 4 very good cards early on, and you can also use a T-Rex card as your 5th. So now we have a playing hand, it's time to speed things up for ourselves dramatically. When you win a card game, you normally only win 1 card that you have turned over during a match. However, you can change these rules. There is the rule 1, which I just described, diff, which is short for difference, where you can select the amount of cards depending on the difference in score. So if you win 6-4, you win 2 cards. 7-3 gives you 4 cards, and 8-2 gives you them all. Direct means you win and lose cards that were flipped in the match, aka a terrible rule. And finally, the last rule is all, which, as the name implies, you win or lose all cards regardless of score, and this is what we want to get. So in order to get this rule, you need to head over to Balam Town, and near the train station just past the shop is a woman known as the Queen of Cards, and we're going to use her to change the trading rule. Keep attempting to have a match with her, and when the rule screen comes up, see what it is. If it's all, then play a match and win. If it's anything else, quit the match and re-challenge her. Once she has all and you beat her in a match, challenge the train conductor just next to her to a match, and if he has all as well, then play him and beat him. Congrats, now the rule for Balam is all. The rules do however degrade over time, so you may need to reset the rules. You may only have to do this a couple of times though, so it's not really too much of a worry. Now, if you get super bad RNG seed and you just don't get all to appear at all, go to the hotel and save your game upstairs, then reset the game and try again with a new RNG seed. This shouldn't take any more than 5 minutes. So, all the preparations are done now, so we can finally start with the actual grind, which is playing cards. There are 4 specific players you should play against, as they use higher level cards more often. I suggest starting on either the Gatekeeper at Balam Garden, or the girl in the skirt near the ocean in Balam Town, just past the hotel. These are pretty easy to beat and have decent cards. Once your hand is expanded, you can move on to getting the player card Quistis, and yes, I know I have likely pronounced that wrong. Head into Balam Garden, go to the cafeteria area, and face off against the Trapez Groupie 1, as he owns this card. Also, the second best person to play against for high level cards, which we are going to need a lot of. He's also somewhat challenging, so make sure to save often while playing him. Now, once you won Quistis, though, you now have your permanent Biff card. At this point, you can do either two things: continue playing the groupie for higher level cards, or move on to somebody else who uses higher level cards a lot more often. If you move though, I suggest saving very often, as he has his own set of card rules that don't follow Balam's. The person I'm talking about is located in Balam Town near the ocean, and he is the fisher there. Be warned, he is extremely tough to beat and can very easily mess you over, so save very often. The reason for this is his rule set is only the trading rule, which means he doesn't have open. In other words, you can't see his cards, so you don't know if and what he can beat you on, which makes planning very hard. For your hand, I suggest using Quistis, Jumbo Cacta, Trauma, Shumi Tribe, and Alvaret. This is the guy you're going to want to farm for high-end cards to mod. Now, I absolutely went overboard for this video, as I won 99 of every possible card you can get at this point in the game. You can get at 100 of every card, however my game started to have issues at the more cards I got to 100. So I kept them at 99 and just modded the ones I got to 100 and then sold the items. So, let's move on to modding all of these excellent cards and then using all these newfound items with the magic refining abilities of the GFs. Now, I'm not going to list every single item we can mod here because that would take ages and the video is already quite long. Instead, I'm going to tell you about the main good items, which are Spiderweb, Coral Fragment, Curse Spike, Black Hole, Water Crystal, Mystery Fluid, Running Fire, Inferno Fang, Marlboro Tentacle, and Barrier. These are important because these all teach Quistis her new limit breaks. Now, let's get some magic to junction with these items. Wizard Stone can be turned into Fundiger and Blizziger. Dynamo Stone can be turned into Fundiger. Windmills can be turned into Tornadoes. Water Crystals can be turned into Water. Northwind can be turned into Blizziger. Now, at this point, this is all we can really do with card mods because of the limitations of only having 2 GFs. However, keep all these items in mind because there's going to be, these are going to be important again soon. Now, because this guide is about how powerful you can get before Ifrit, we're gonna throw everything to the wind and level Squall up to 100 for the extra stat gains. And while doing this, because monster levels are based on your party's average level, this means they level up with you, meaning we can draw high level magic now as well. You can get Quake, Firigger, and Fundiger from T-Rexes, Sleep, Confuse, Berserk, and Silence from Grats, and finally you can get Curiger, Slow, and Stop from Caterpillars. You can also get Blizziger from Glacialize because they drop the Northwind item pretty often after they get past level 30. And finally, if you want to go the extra mile, that takes far too long, there is a hidden draw point in the train tunnel on the world map, which contains Isuna. This is a hassle to reset though and takes ages to get a stack of 100, so it's not really recommended. Now, as well as all of this, because of all the items we got earlier from cards, we can also get Squall's second best weapon, the Punishment, in exchange for 1 Chef's Knife, 2 Star Fragments, 1 Turtle Shell, and 8 Screws. You can also get Quistis' best weapon, Save the Queen, in exchange for 2 Marlboro Tentacles, 4 Sharp Spikes, and 4 Energy Crystals. At this point, this is basically everything that can be done before Ifrit. So, just how strong are we? Well, the answer, unfortunately, after all of that effort and time, is not very. Attacks do about 2000 damage and we only have 6700 HP. And because Squall is level 100, that means monsters are going to be much higher leveled as well, meaning their defense is higher and their attack is higher, allowing them to destroy your lower leveled characters pretty easily, since we only grinded Squall here, both his level and magic just for him. Now, these sorts of stats are enough to pretty much get through the first 2 discs rather easily, and can get you through a lot of the 3rd disc as well, but you're going to start running into problems if you keep this exact setup. But, do you want to know what the real kick in the teeth is? As soon as you get Ifrit, with everything we have just done, we can get strong enough to the point Squall can solo the entire game. The reason for this is Ifrit has the strength bonus abilities, giving 20% and 40% extra strength, along with his fire magic refine. We can also refine flare magic with that, from Inferno Fangs. Now, once you have flare and equip these strength abilities, Squall's stats are 7.2k HP and 203 strength with 106 vitality. These are high enough that when using normal attacks, he does about 5k damage on these high level monsters, and his Renzokuken limit break deals a total of about 30,000 damage overall, enough to solo everything bar level 100 Omega. And there we have it. An answer to a question nobody in their right mind would ever ask, and if you're curious, it took nearly 70 hours of gameplay to get to this stage for the sake of this video. So if you're wondering why I haven't uploaded much in the past week or two, well, now you know it's because I was selling my soul to the devil for a completely pointless subject. But my new soul estate aside, I hope you've all enjoyed the video. If you have, I would love it if you can leave a like and a comment, as it does help a lot. And if you would like to help support the channel, then become a member or consider using my Amazon affiliate link down below in the description. And of course, subscribe if you're new around here. But like always guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.